So let us start the compiler design in continuation of the preceding lectures. So this is lecture number 9, and still we are continuing the unit number 2, and I will take one more class of this unit, and after that I will start the unit number 3 in compiler design also. So at the end of this unit, I will give you the PDF of this unit. I will upload on the Google Classroom as well as on my web page on amu.ac.in. And beside this, after completing this unit number 2, I will take your one test in the form of quiz. Okay, and in that quiz, I will give you MCQ, multiple choice question, and short answer type. So it will be based on short answer type as well as multiple choice questions. Okay, so after completing the unit number 2 in compiler design and after completion of the unit 3 in computer graphics. So in both subjects, in both theory subjects, I will arrange first test, that is in the form of the quiz, and in that basic test I will set the time, and you can solve that within 30 minutes. Okay, so I will give you 30 minutes, and within that time you have to complete and submit that. Okay, and if you will try to submit after 30 minutes, then you can't. So try to bind up your work and upload your work before 30 minutes. Okay, so whenever we are doing the lexical analysis and syntax analysis, then we will get some sort of ambiguous grammar when we will implement various trees. Then in that trees, parse trees, we will get some sort of ambiguous grammar. Okay, whenever we have the error in our programs, then after scanning or after drawing the parse trees, the compiler will decide that we have the ambiguous grammar, and due to the ambiguous grammar we are getting some sort of errors in our programs. Okay, so then what are the different ways to convert ambiguous grammar into unambiguous grammar? Okay, we have already differentiated about the ambiguous grammar and unambiguous grammar. If we are getting, there are few points, but first of them is, if we are getting only one tree, one parts tree, then we can say that our grammar is the ambiguous grammar. Okay, and if we are obtaining more than two trees, then we will say that our grammar is ambiguous. So it is necessary that we must get only one tree, that is called the parts tree. So it will be based on the unambiguous grammar. So sometimes there is a need arise to convert ambiguous grammar into the unambiguous grammar. So there are several rules so that we can change the ambiguous grammar into unambiguous grammar. Okay. Then how we will convert? So the first point for that is the causes such as a left recursion, common prefixes, etc. makes the grammar ambiguous. So the reason is sometimes we use common prefixes. Okay. And also the left recursion. We have already discussed regarding the left recursion, right recursion. We always use the production symbol. So on the left side of the production symbol, we can say that the left recursion may occur on the left side. Okay. Similarly, the right recursion may be on the right side. Okay. Left recursion and right recursion. And this occurs beyond the production symbol. So in the center, we have the production symbol, and on the left side and right side, we have left recursion and right recursion. So sometimes due to the common prefixes makes the grammar ambiguous. So for this, I will consider sort of example in the next slide. Another thing, another reason, the removal of these causes may convert the grammar into unambiguous grammar. Sometimes we think that we can remove such type of recursion and also the common prefixes. Okay, sometimes we write the program and then we use some sort of prefixes and also the recursion. Recursion means there are some type of words we use on the left side and right side, and that occurs more time. Sometimes we are going to write the program, then we write few steps more than one time. Sometimes we use the loop again and again, or due to the writing mistake, typing mistake, we write the same keyword again. Okay, and sometimes we left to write. There are some mistakes, human mistakes, or we can say the typing mistake we will do during writing the program. Then such type of errors is called the recursion error, and that may occur on the left hand side or on the right hand side. Okay, so there is a need arise to convert such type of ambiguous grammar into unambiguous. Okay, so how we will convert? We remove some sort of errors. Okay, some type of prefixes, and also due to the removal of such type of prefixes or the recursion, then we will enter some sort of errors in our program. Okay. So, however, it is not always compulsory. Sometimes we can get the unambiguous grammar, or sometimes we increase or enhance the level of the grammar, level of the errors. Okay. So then there are few methods to remove the ambiguity. So how will you remove the ambiguity? So there are few methods. First is called the by adding precedence rules. Because whenever we are going to write the program, then we forget to concentrate over the precedence rules. Okay. Sometimes we use number of operators and then we provide some sort of priority. Okay. So in the mathematics also we use, you are already aware, in the mathematics we use the BODMAS rule. Okay. So in that case, that is also the priority based. So similarly in this subject also we use precedence rules. Another thing is the by using semantics. Another is called the fixing of the grammar, and fourth one is called the by adding grouping rules. So you have knowledge regarding the precedence rules. We give more priority to the divide sign over the multiplication, or positive sign or the negative sign. Okay. So the division sign has more priority. We will give the more precedence. Okay. Then we always follow some precedence rules. Another is called by using semantics. Sometimes we are going to write the program and we will write the correct program, okay, but we will never get the right output. So in that case, we can say that we have the logical problem, that is called the semantic problem. Okay, if we are going to write the program, it is running correctly. Okay, we have no any error in our program, but after that we are not getting the proper output. It means that we have the problem in the in our logic. So that comes under the category of the semantic errors. Okay. So first is by adding precedence rules, and another is called by using the semantics. So our logic must be right. Okay. Another method is called the by fixing the grammar. So sometimes we fix our grammar, we change our grammar, we update our grammar. Okay, because you are already aware that even we are using the preceding rules of the grammar, English grammar, and still the research is going on. So the English is also changing or updating. Okay, we are not using the old English, which is already developed. There are several rules, several semantics we have already developed earlier. Okay, but still the research is going on in each and every field. So that we fix here our grammar, we update our grammar, okay, we change our grammar, and after changing the grammar, we can say that we are going to remove the ambiguity, okay. And another last one is called the by adding the grouping rules. So there are some few rules so that we can add in that. So these are the few methods to remove the ambiguity, okay. So even though the ambiguity can be removed by the programmer on its own, okay, and there are few rules which we use. So the ambiguity from the grammar may be removed using the following method. Okay, so there are few methods. By using those methods we can remove the ambiguity. So first, by fixing the grammar, by adding grouping rules, by using semantics and choosing the parts that make the most sense, by adding the precedent rules or other context sensitive parsing rules. So there are few things by which we can get the unambiguous grammar. We can remove the ambiguity. So just we are considering the first one, precedence and the associativity rules. Okay, so these are few rules we have already used in the mathematics too, because we have knowledge regarding what are the associativity rules. Okay, precedence. So an ambiguous grammar may be converted into an unambiguous grammar by implementing precedence constants. Okay, in this case we will use the precedence rules, precedent constants. Okay, these are few rules, few protocols, and associativity constants. Okay, so these are associativity means we will apply some sort of rules. Okay, that is, suppose we are using whether a plus b is equal to b plus a, like that. Okay, so such type is called the associativity constants. And precedence, just we are providing the more priority to the divide sign over the plus and minus. So such type of rules we use in this grammar too. And another thing is that these constants are implemented using the following rules. So there are again few rules. By using those, we can apply the precedence constants as well as the associativity constants. So what is the rule one? The label at which the production is present define the priority of the operator contained in it. Okay, so first is the label at which the production is present. So first we will decide where is production. Okay, whenever we will write any expression, then first we will divide our expression, and in that, suppose we are going to write any complete expression, it means it must contain few strings. Okay, expression, it is nothing but a combination of few strings. Okay, then whenever the lexical analysis will break the expression into number of strings, it means we will use some production symbol. Okay, whenever we will apply some grammar rules, then we will use the production at the center of that, and then we will called left hand side recursion and the right hand side recursion. That is, on the left hand side we must follow some rules, and also on the right hand side we must follow some rules of the grammar, and it must be equal. So the here equal sign, instead of the equal sign we are using the production symbol. The higher the level of the production, the lower the priority of operator. So here we will provide the priority to the operator symbol. The lower the level of the production, the higher the priority of operator. Okay. So another rule, associativity constraint. How we will prove the associativity constraint? If the operator is left associative, in this case we will check whether the operator symbol, okay, means the multiplication sign, okay, or the slash sign, we can say the divide plus minus. So if the operator is left associative, induce left recursion. If it is present on the left hand side, then it may induce left recursion in its production. Okay, so first we will check that the operator symbol is repeating or not there on the left hand side. Similarly, we can check same rule on the right hand side. Okay, because on the both side we must have some sort of strings, and it may contains also the operator symbols. Okay, because in some programs we always use some operator symbols too whenever we are going to do the calculation. So it may contain any formula, so that may also contain some operator symbols. Okay, so we will check the is it associative or not on the left hand side and also on the right hand side. So now just we are considering problem based on conversion into the unambiguous grammar. So this is one of the example. Okay, how we are going to convert into the unambiguous grammar. So convert the following ambiguous grammar. So this is ambiguous grammar. Here it is already mentioned, and we are going to convert into the unambiguous grammar. Now R, here you can, it is indicated by the arrow sign. Then this R may contain R plus R, or R dot R, or R star. Okay, here R star means it is a repetition. Okay, R star here indicates that there is a repetition of several R's. If there is a asterisk sign over the R, it means that character is repeating infinitely. Okay, so we can replace as per requirement what we need as output, so that we can say the R, we can choose, we have the several options here. This R may, we can write as only R, or we can also choose as R slash R, or here this we can choose as R plus R, or R dot R, or R repetition. Okay, or A or B. Here this sign indicates, slash sign means here or. Okay, so we can replace as per our input string. Okay, so we can replace R by R plus R, or R dot R, or R star, or by A or by B. So first we will check that what is the given input string and what we want to do. Then we can choose as per rules. Okay, so convert the following ambiguous grammar, but this grammar they are saying that it is ambiguous and we want to change into unambiguous grammar. Okay, so how we will change into the unambiguous grammar? Because by using this grammar, this is the given grammar, we are unable to get the proper output. Suppose as a input string, we want to develop the input string, whatever it is given, it is provided in the problem. We are unable to get the same string with the use of this grammar, or it may be possible we are getting two parse tree by using this grammar. So this is called the ambiguous grammar. Now there is a need arise to convert this grammar into unambiguous. And unambiguous grammar means whenever we will draw the syntax tree or the parse tree, then we will get only the one parse tree. Okay, so there is a need arise to update this grammar. Then how can we update this grammar? Then we have to change some symbols, or we will provide the priority to some operators to get only one tree. Okay, now just see here, to convert the grammar given grammar into its corresponding unambiguous grammar, we implement the precedence and associativity constraints. Okay, now as rule 1, just we are going to implement the precedence. Okay, we will provide the priority, we will do the work on the basis of the priority, we will provide the priority to our work. Okay, and associativity constraints, whether we can apply some rules or not. So there is also condition that is called the associativity constraints. So we have first, you can see here, given grammar consists of the following operators. Okay, now we can check again. Now there are few operators we are using: plus sign, dot sign, star sign. Okay, so given grammar consists of the following operators. Following operators means plus, dot, and then star. Okay, so here this sign and plus sign and dot sign, we are using three operator symbol. So this sign you know already, plus sign, multiplication sign. This sign is used for two types of things. First is called the, for the, we can say, for the repetition. Suppose if we will put this sign over the A here or over the B, then it means there is a repetition of same characters infinite times. Okay, and we can also use for the power this sign. So there are two ways to use the this symbol. Okay, so in the context of the compiler, we can say that we will use for the repetition of the characters. Okay, so we are using here three symbols. Another thing, now you can see given grammar consists of the following operands. Now we are using the two operands here, A or B. These are called the operands. Okay, so this is the given grammar already, and we are using the operator symbols plus dot and this asterisk sign, and then operands A and B. Okay, now the priority order is, now how we are going to provide the priority. First we are giving priority to the AB, means to the operands, because without the operands we cannot use the operator. Okay, these are the operands and these are the operators, star, dot, plus. So we always give priority to the operands, okay, and then operator. So where dot operator here in this case is left associative, plus operator is left associative. Now we can see because plus and dot this occurring on the left hand side, because if we will divide this expression into two halves, then we can say that plus and dot occurs on the left. So we can say left associative and also plus operator is left associative. Now come to the precedence and associativity rules. So using the precedence, whenever we are going to provide the priority or the precedence and associativity rules, we write the corresponding unambiguous grammar. So this is the fixed grammar in the context of the compiler design, okay? And that was the given grammar, r dot r plus r slash something. But this is the fixed grammar for the compiler design. Then write the corresponding unambiguous grammar. So how we will get the unambiguous grammar? If we will follow this grammar, this is called the unambiguous grammar. We must follow the rules and regulations that are inbuilt in the compiler. Okay, whenever we are going to write the compiler, then there is fixed grammar and we have to follow that. Okay, so this is the fixed grammar of a particular compiler and we have to use that grammar. If we will use this grammar, that we will get the unambiguous grammar. Okay, so this is called the unambiguous grammar, and if we will use this one, then we can say that we can change the ambiguous grammar into unambiguous. So what are the rules? We are following the rules, but we can change this ambiguous grammar, that is the faulty grammar, into the unambiguous grammar if we will use these rules. Okay, e any expression e plus t, so we can choose either this value e plus t or this t. Okay, just we are going to break this expression and we can choose e plus t, okay, or only single t as per requirement. Again, t, we can replace t by t dot f or we can choose single f, okay, as per requirement. And similarly this f we can write in place of this f either f star or g. Similarly, what is g? G is we can choose either a or b, okay, not both. We can choose either this or this, so that by using this grammar we can implement the particular strings whatever we want as per need, as per requirement. So if we will follow the rules and regulation, then this is called the unambiguous grammar. Okay, so to change the ambiguous grammar into the unambiguous grammar, we have to follow these particular rules, okay, which are already inbuilt in the compiler. Continue again this, or we can also use this. We can choose e in place of this. We can write e plus t or t, t dot f or f, f this. Here we can use a or b or f star. Okay, asterisk means here repetition of the same character again and again. Okay, So if we will follow these rules, then it also comes under the category of the unambiguous grammar. Either this we can follow uh, these rules or these rules. We will get the single tree. So this type of grammar is called the unambiguous grammar. We have the choice either the preceding one, last one, or this one. So in both the cases, we will get the single parse tree, and this grammar based on the associativity constants as well as the operators uh, precedence. Okay, and we will get the unambiguous grammar. So there are few syntax error handling. How we will handle the syntax error? So whenever we are going to compile our program, then the compiler handle the error. Okay, so if a compiler had to process only correct programs, its design would be extremely simple. However, it is expected to assist the programmer in locating and tracking errors. Okay, so if we are going to write the correct program, then the compiler will track your whole program, and after that, if there is a error, then it can locate easily and track your errors. Otherwise, it will compile your programs and give zero errors, means there is no any error. Okay, and if there is a error, then the compiler will do the error recovery. So there are few errors that can recovered by the compiler or by the programmer itself. So one should note that programming language does not specify how a compiler should respond to error. It is actually left entirely to the compiler designer. So sometimes there are few errors which were very difficult to handle by the compiler itself. So it is handled by the programmer, and such those type of errors are called the logical errors. Now there are common programming errors. So first is called the semantic errors, another is called the syntactic errors, third one is the lexical errors and logical errors. So what are the semantic errors? Sometimes type mismatch. We are going to type our program, then we mostly type the wrong words. So that is called the type mismatch between the operator and operators, operands. Okay, so sometimes we use the operator symbol somewhere else. We put the operator symbol and we change the shape of the our expression. Okay, due to the typing mistake. So sometimes also a return statements with return type void. Sometimes we type anything. Okay, we never concentrate over that. Just we are going to type our program. So such type of errors is called the semantic errors, mismatching, typing mismatch. Okay, and this also comes under the category of the logical errors. Another is called the syntactic errors, misplaced semicolons. You are already aware by the syntactic errors or the syntax errors, misplaced semicolons, extra or missing braces, etc. etc. Okay. Lexical errors, misspellings of the keywords, identifiers and operators, because these are operators, identifiers, keywords, these are already defined in the compiler. Okay, so such type of errors are called the lexical errors due to the misspelling of the keywords. So there is a mismatching, and this mismatching comes under the category of the lexical errors. And another is called the logical errors, incorrect reasoning or plain carelessness might result in errors like interchangeably using equal and equal operators. Sometimes you can see here that you want to put the equal sign. Okay, you want to use the double equal sign, and in place of that, you are writing or typing only single equal sign. Okay, sometimes we use the logical symbols. Okay, logic gates logical symbols, then we want to put the double equal sign and we just type only single sign of assignment sign. Okay, so such type of errors come under the category of the logical errors. Okay, so now there are semantic errors, syntactic errors, lexical errors, logical errors. Okay, these are called the category of the different common programming errors. Okay, so again, why will fixable property? How we will fix our errors? Detecting an error as soon as prefix of the input cannot be completed to form a string of the language. Goals of an error handler. So we must be aware by the goals of an error handler. What are the different goals? So just I am taking first your attendance, and after that I will continue because the time of this class is going to complete as per the Zoom time. So that's why I am taking your attendance first. Okay, only 1 minute left. So how we will recover such type of errors? So the function of the compiler to handle the different type of errors, and these are the big challenges to the compiler. So reporting presence of errors clearly and accurately. So what is the first function of the compiler? To convert the high level language into the low level language, that is the machine language. Another is the reporting presence of errors. Okay, reporting presence of errors clearly and accurately. So recovering from errors, it is also done by the compiler. It reports the errors to you, to the programmer who is writing the program, who is compiling the program, and how will you recover those errors? It also tells to you regarding the how will you recover the errors quickly enough to detect subsequent errors. Add minimal overhead to the processing of correct program.